Okay, let's talk about squaring up pen blanks. So this one here, this blank here, I used my pen mandrel on originally, okay, and brought it down. I didn't get crazy on it because this was not my final or, my final truing up tool. This just gets me close. So after I got that, I used this barrel trimmer on it. I put my bushings on because I'm turning between centers on this one. I don't like a pen mandrel. I gave up on that years ago. I strictly by turning between centers now. So after I did that, I turned my blank down to roughly pretty close, a few thousandths to here, maybe 10 or 15 thousandths to go on that edge. Okay, and after I get it close, what I normally do is I take it over here. Let's see if I can zoom in on this piece that I made. Okay, let me take it off and I'll show you what I do here. Oh. That's just a chunk of mandrel. Had a bunch of them sitting around. Drilled a hole in my deck of my lathe, board for my lathe, and I got a nut on either side of that. I take a hole puncher and I punch a hole in my, just use a regular hole puncher, punch a hole in my piece of sandpaper here. It slides right over that, okay, and a nice flat surface on there on the nut. Slide that down, and I made these tubes that fit. Let's see if I can get this bushing out of here first. Okay, so my just made my own bushings here that fit inside the. This is a 3/8 tube, so that fits right inside there. There's no slop in it. Okay, sits right down there. So now it can sit on the pen mandrel rod. I bring it down there, bring it close. There's not much material now. That's what my main focus here is. Everybody's concerned about, well, how much material you have to take off of the barrel trimmer. But if you look at it, I mean, how much material are we taking off here? You know what I mean? Between the tube and the outside, hardly anything. So a little bit of sandpaper down there really works for me. All right, so then I take it down here and let's see if it'll stay focused and all that, and then I just square up my ends and get them close. Sometimes I'll do this with the sandpaper, hand, flip it over, and that gives me the best squared up pen tube that I've ever had. I have no problems with the transitions when I put my pen together, no out around, no nothing. It looks beautiful every time. Okay, so once I do that, that's how my, clean that up a little bit. I don't even know where my lens is at. And that's how it looks on both sides. And then, so now that I'm close, I still have material to take off. Okay. So once I've done that, put it back on the lathe, put my bushings back in there, and I'll turn it down to final. I'll finish it with, I normally use CA as a finish. Okay. I'll put it back on the lathe, turn it back down. Sometimes you'll notice after doing this, it seems to have trued it up. Because it's a little bit out of round almost every time that I do this. Just a little bit. You can hear it. Hear that? So I do that. See how it's skipping and hitting? And once I get this thing down, down to my bushing, I'll take it back and I'll put it back on that piece of sandpaper over there again. After the CA glue and all that's on there, I'll put it on there, just touch up the ends a little bit, and then I'll assemble my pen. It works out great. I hope you like the video.